Hello my crafty friends, Corrine here from Corrine Crafts. I hope you are well. Have you been doing some amazing crafting? Please don't forget to share your makes with me. Well, today's make, I am so pleased with it. I didn't know how it was going to come out. Here is today's make. Look at that. Isn't that stunning? Quite clean and simple, depending on your definition of clean and simple. For me, I call that clean and simple. It's some gorgeous off-white cards, a couple of layers, a bit of gold thread, some mulberry paper, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But the piece de resistance is some reverse colouring on some vellum. So I've used Julie Hickey's fresh floral dyes, which I absolutely adore. And yeah, coloured on the back of the vellum and then pop them on the front of the card. Aren't they beautiful? I hope you like it, and I'm going to show you now how I made it. So having seen a card on Pinterest that sort of piqued my attention, I thought I'd have a go at making my own version of that card. And I thought I would dig deep and find some products that I haven't had out my craft cupboard for a very long time. Now this is some mulberry paper, and I used to demonstrate it for fleurs when I was a tattered lace demonstrator. And it's mulberry paper, and I love this. So if I can find a piece that I've already taken out of the packet, it's a natural paper. Oh, let the camera get focus there. And it's like, always reminds me of your wood chip wallpaper. So but this is a lovely thick paper. It's a lot thicker than your rice paper, but I suppose it's a man-made natural paper, if that's not a contradiction in terms, but I love it. So it's really textured. It's brilliant for making flowers, but that's not what we're going to do. And I've got lots of packs, and I just found this that said Snowdrop Collection because it's got sort of whites and creams and greens in, which I really like. So I've got the white in there. Now, I say I've got the white, but I'm actually going to be using it on some cream linen, because when you put the two together it looks really good. When I put the yellow with this, it was too yellow. So this is an off-white card. It's my linen. I like doing that. And just to show you, I've got two pieces. One's just shy of 4x6, and then the other piece, I'm just going to check that now because I'm now doubting myself. Oh yeah, it's 6. There you go, this is exactly 6x4. There we go. Why was I doubting myself? 6x4. And then obviously a little bit bigger. Now, if you put this onto a white card base, even if you've got mats and layers, to me it jars. So I'll show you what I've done. So this is, look, it's a pre-bought 5x7 card base in pure white. So if I was to put this onto here, you see, I don't think it looks very nice at all, because you've got that harsh white, and then it doesn't make this look off white, it makes it look quite yellow. So what I've done, you can just see it there, is I've cut a piece to 5x7 and I've covered the front of my card base with it. So this there, look, is exactly the same card. So it looks like I've got a whole card made out of this. This isn't really what I would make a card base out of, but it sits nicely onto a card base. So then I've done a pink layer, then I've done another layer of the cream, and then I've done a layer of the gold. And these two layers are going to sit on there eventually, but we're not ready to do that. So this is really, really simple. So this is going to be my card, and onto there we're going to put a strip of this paper. So what I need to do, it tears really easy, but I also find it tears really well if you bring in some water and you shape it how you want it to be. Now, it's quite a thick one, this, so you do have to either apply quite a bit of water or give it time to soak in, because it's going to take a few minutes to permeate through. So I'm just sort of doing a piece down there, and you can see the water on there. See, it's not really coming through, but it might be enough that's going to allow me to start tearing. Now this mulberry paper, it die cuts brilliantly. You'd think it wouldn't, but it really does. So it's just going through that water. This is quite a thick mulberry paper. I can't remember what the GSM is. What does it say, how thick it is? No, I don't think it does, but it is quite thick. So, you know, I think it was done so that we could die cut flower shapes out of, but I'm trying to use it as a natural paper. So we're just going to rip that. And I could cut this, but I don't want to. I want to tear it. So I'll use that piece for another bit. And now I've got this. If you don't like where you're at, you can. You see, this is soaking through now a little bit. I can. There we go. I prefer that's gone a bit. There we are. Bit better shape, but I can tidy that up, and that now is going to sit on to there. So onto there, I need a little bit of a sentiment. And that's just because it's mulberry paper, I can still do a sentiment, no problem. I am going to bring in my stamping platform rather than use a rocker block. So I'm going to weigh this down because I am going to have to do multiple stamps. And then I just found a sentiment. So I'm going to use my happy birthday out of here. Oops, if I can get it out. I wanted one that was quite small. And I'm going to pop it just like that. There we go. Yeah, quite near the top-ish. There we are. Let me just check that straight. Just because mulberry paper or texture paper, you could be using rice paper, you could be using vellum. You can still put a sentiment on. So I'm going to pop that there. I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to get pigment ink pad because I think that's going to be the best one. I'm going to go gold, and you'll see I'm going to tie in a few bits of gold, and I'm going to stamp. Now I might have to do a couple of stamps because remember my paper's not flat, it's very textured. Look, that's very pale. I think I've re-inked this. This is a really old ink pad, but I've just re-inked it with ink a couple of times. If it's not mucky, you can get away with re-inking. It's only when they get mucky and contaminated that you've got to change your... Now, my happy's not... Let me just make sure. There we go. Now, if you've got a nice gold embossing powder, you can add that. My embossing powder's a bit dark, my gold one, so I'm not going to. That should just about do. So I can take that off, and whilst that's going, I can find my clear embossing powder. So I've just got my clear. I can pop that onto there and then lift it off and then just tap it through there. So that will now heat emboss. I'll just quickly heat emboss that, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Right, I'm going to use this one because there you go, it's all heat embossed perfectly. So this can go onto my card. So what you can either do is if you want to, you can just pop it like that, or if you want to, you could lift it up a little bit and fold it over there. I think that makes quite a nice neat edge, and that's what I think I'm going to do on this one. So I can then take a little bit of glue, and then I can run it along there and then along there. I'm actually only going to put glue down the centre, I think, so that it's not held down too tightly. Try and centre that up, and then put that on there. There we go. And then that can go on to that layer. Now I am going to put some twine around, but I want to put it around both layers so we can, let's make sure it goes over the top of there and then onto here. So I've just basically got the off-white on top of off-white, and it's about 3/16 of an inch bigger. So you've got, there we go, just that lovely little border all the way around. Now I'm not going to do any more with that for a minute. I want to create my topper for that. So for my topper, I've got some vellum. Let's have a look. Right, I am definitely going to bring in my stamping platform again. Yeah, right, I'm going to put my vellum on, if I can see where my piece of vellum's gone. There we are. And put that on there, and then down here. Now I'm going to stamp on here, and I'm going to heat emboss, because you could use your stays on, but if you want to just use regular ink, then it's going to smudge. So anti-static bag, because you can get lots of fingerprints on vellum. So anti-static bag to clean it off. And then I'm going to bring it in my lovely Julie Hickey stamp. So this is her fresh florals, and so you've got the stamps and the matching dies. I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to pop it on here, and then I can do some leaves and also the smaller one. What I'm just going to, I don't know if I'll need all these. I just want to make sure there's no anti-static bag residue. Oops. There we go. So I can pop these on, and I can stamp all, because I'm using a stamping platform, there's no reason why I can't do all of these in one go. So we can put one there. Now, they do have corresponding dies, so don't put them too close together, because remember, you need to be able to cut them out. It's only a little strip of vellum anyway. Put those on there. And I've cut my vellum to this width so that I can cut it on my small die cutting machine. There we go. Right, I'm not going to use gold this time. Actually, that would probably look quite nice. But I'm going to use a white pigment ink. I'm going to go all over. Now, again, I'm probably going to have to do a couple of coats because I'm going to be heat embossing. But it's not a problem because I'm on my stamping platform. Let's put those on. If you need to, get your pressure tool. Just burnish it down. So the first time will probably be quite pale. Oh yeah, a little bit patchy for that first one. So let's do a second one. Don't worry if you have to do a third. It really isn't a problem. Could do with a little bit more up there. I'm just going to do that bit. The rest of them are all fine. So let's just do that bit. I hope that vellum didn't move. I don't think it did. There we go. Right, so this time, instead of doing clear embossing powder, I'm going to do white embossing powder, which is why I wanted to make sure I've got the anti-static bag on, so that it definitely, I'm going to put this under here so you can see, so that, you know, the white embossing powder didn't stick. The good thing is we're going to be cutting them out. So as long as if you did get any residue, as long as it was outside of the flowers or foliage, it wouldn't matter. But it's better to get it right. So we can put that, and then we can then just tip that straight back in the pot. You hardly use any. I mean, this pot's been going for so long. Now look at that. Doesn't that look amazing? I love white embossing on vellum. It looks so good. So let's take this out and let's just give that a heat blast. There we go. Now, all I'd say is make sure you've definitely heat embossed it all, because you don't want any grainy bits. But look at that. That looks lovely. So I can bring in the dies. That flower one's trying to escape. And then I just line them up. Now, this is where I end up going round 5 times, finding that I was one away. Oh, is that right? No, that's not right. I could really do with a marker. No, that one's not right. This is because they're hand-drawn, you see. They're not symmetrical, you know, digitally created. That one looks right. See, I'm always starting it completely the wrong way, aren't I? So I can put a piece of tape on there. Then I want the leaves. Leaves are much easier, as long as I get it the right way round. And that one. A little piece of tape. Now, there is no right or wrong way. If you find it easier to die cut and then stamp, then you do it that way. I find it easier to stamp and then die cut. That's just my personal preference. You have to work it the way that works for you. But for me, this works. And these are so good. With it being heat embossed, it actually clicks into place. The dies click so easily. I love Julie's products. They're all so brilliant. So yeah, you'll have no problems with those, apart from having to spin my die round and round and round until I find that might be all right. We'll give it a go. Right, so I can pop these onto here. You might find, because we're cutting out of vellum, that you might need a scrap of card, which I've not got because it was recycling day yesterday. So all my little scrappy bits have gone. Let's see if that's good enough. Oops. Bring in the heat gun with me. So let's put that through. I do love it when you can do these things through things like your mini die cutting machines. And then these have cut absolutely perfect. Now, sometimes some people like to do it so that it's cutting through cardboard, paper. Oh, I've broken that one as well. Luckily, I've got one. That one. I'll show you that one in a minute. Paper as well as the vellum. They find it sometimes better. Maybe it wouldn't break like mine's just done there. Let me bring this in so I can show you. I've got that one there. And then I've got that one there. Don't they look amazing? And unfortunately, I just cracked that one. That was my fault. I cracked that. So what we're going to do with these, I want to colour them. Now, you could colour them from the top, but I'm going to turn them over and colour them from the back. So it's really easy to do. Turn them over, and then I'm just going to bring in my alcohol pens. Oh, there's not green on that one, so let's do it on this. So I'm going to go with my pale pink, and I'm just going to go all over. Now, you can go right on to the white because no one's going to see it because you've got this embossed over it. So we're doing the back. Just gives a much more muted look. I'll actually do one from the front in a minute and show you the difference. So if we do that, and there. Right, let me show you these. Can you see, look, if I put the two together, you can just see the pink hint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my red, DR1, dark red one, and I'm just going to do a few flicks up there. And then that way. You don't have to do anything precision with these. It really works wonderfully. And I'm going to get the darkest one, which is DR4, and I'm just going to do a little bit at the base. Now, I do need to do a couple of sort of rounds of this because I'll end up blending some of this out, but that's absolutely fine. So I've got that. So I'm going to come back to my pink, which is their pale pink one, and I'm just going to blend it. Now, what's happening is because it's vellum, it doesn't dry, so it's picking that up and blending it out. So blend those through like that, so it just mixes them. So you can see I've got a dark colour. I'm going to just clean my brush, and then I can then just go right to the edge. And then what I tend to do, let me just make sure my nib's clean, yep. Then I tend to do is get dark red one, and then just do a few more flicks. Just remember, this is the back. It will look very different from the front once you turn it over. This is trial and error for me. This is just trial and error that I found works. So when I turn that over, look at that. I get that lovely hint of colour coming out the back. I'll just show you the difference. If I turn this one over and we colour it from the front, pale pink one, let me do it over here, see if you can actually see it a little bit more. I'm not seeing the pink very well on this side. Oh, it is there just about. It's a very fleshy colour. But as soon as I go in with some red, so you can go over the embossing, it'll just wipe off. It'll be much, much stronger. I mean, if that's what you want, then do it that way. And then I can come in with a darker one. And then I can always just blend that out, just the same as I did on the back. You see, you can see it looks different because you can see it. There's nowhere to hide when you do it from the front. Like that. And then what I would do is I'd get my cloth and I'd just make sure it's off the stamens. There we go. So you can see the difference. You can see the difference. It's much subtler by doing it on the back. So I've got a few. I've got that one. What else have I got? I've got a couple here. I've got some leaves that I didn't manage to break. And I've got some smaller ones. Now, I don't know how many of these I'm going to use. Did I have another one like that? Yes, I did. Right, let's see how many of these I'm going to use. So let's bring this bit of card back in before I stick this on. And we've got this. So what do I want to do? So I've got some gold. And I'll bring that in as well. I've got gold. I've got pink. So I think we need to tie it all together. So I'm going to use some of this gold thread. I used a black one the other day that I bought. And this is the gold that came in the set. So I'm going to turn this over. I need a little bit of red liner, I think. Some scissors. Let's cut that. Right, now I need to remember where I want this. I want this to be about, I don't know, where do I want it? Do I want it to be going under there? I think I might go under there. Do I want it? Yeah, let's go under. I don't know. Let's put that one there. And then come on. They're not all going to go under. Some are going to go under. Is that straight? Is that straight? I think that was straight. Put that there. Then what I'll do is I'll take the back off here. Oh, staticky. And then I can whiz this round. I just thought this would look really, you know, just really pretty. Just, how many have I got? Is that 3? Yeah, that'll do. So pop that over here. Just to be on the safe side, we're just going to pop another couple of bits of red liner over, but we won't take the backing off. So that's just going to hold that down. That one shouldn't go anywhere. It's this side. I don't want that to unravel. There we go. Let's then grab foam tape. This will be perfect, 1.6mm. It's just going to sit wonderfully with this. It's always easier to do this before I put the flowers on the front, because if I put the flowers on the front, then I'm going to be crushing them and everything, aren't I? So let's get my PVA. Grabbing those. PVA. Just thought this would be pretty. It'd be fresh, quite modern looking, I think, but quite clean and simple. Yeah, just thought it would look nice. Right, so where's my card opening that way? And let's pop that on there like that. Right, so now I want my flowers. So we can either shape them. Actually, I might shape them a little bit. And do I want them in singles or doubles? All I'm doing here, look, is just cutting down between the petals, because if you cut down between the petals, they shape up a bit better. I could do it a lot neater and a lot more precision, but do you know what? Once it's shaped, you won't be able to see my cutting because it just absorbs it all. So I need a ball tool, and I'm changing my mind as we go on here, you know. This is not what I was thinking I was going to do at all, but we run with it. And then we can shape on the back. I do love these florals from Julie. I use them quite a lot, you'll probably see. But you could use whatever florals you've got. Doesn't have to be these. I'm sure you've got some floral dies. Yeah, and stamps. Whatever you've got, it'll work. So basically, it's almost like a bit of parchment craft, isn't it, doing shaping? Probably should have got my hot glue gun going, but I haven't. But never mind. This is what happens when you change your mind halfway through. You end up with something completely different and not necessarily all of the tools ready to go. Just need to trim that off there. And this is quite a thick vellum. It's not wanting to shape. Well, it is shaping a bit, but it's not as shaping as I expected. No, it's not going to shape without a cut. I was going to do them completely flat, but I've just changed my mind as I've started it up, which I'm allowed to do. We're allowed to do that. And all the way down, and down there, and down there. There we go. Just helps with that shaping. You can see straight away it's shaping better. Oh, I've just broken that one. That was silly of me. It was a bit too heavy-handed. I can still probably use that, actually. No reason not to. There we go. Right, okay, so I need some 3D glue. 3D glue. So let's just have a placement here. So what I was thinking of is putting, I can put a double on like that. Can you see? I could pop, am I going to use a single? Oh, I've just broken that one too. That's me being too rough. But I can tuck it under here, can't I? Oh, good thinking, Corrine. Pop those like that. Ah, there's a way. What I might do then is, I think, is I'm going to put this one on. And one in the centre. Just like, you know what this is calling out for, isn't it? It's calling out for some gems in the centre of this flower. I can feel it. And then I can do this one, sort of tucked under. Coming like that. Then let's do the greenery first. I like this. This is so pretty, isn't it? Very clean and simple. I'm breaking them all. Why am I breaking them all? I must be being a bit rough here, but never mind. That's the end, so I can use that. I can take this one that I've broken. Shows I don't adjust them for the filming. They're broken, so we're going to use them. Let me just get a pair of tweezers. Let's use this one that's also broken. Dear me. I've obviously got heavy hands tonight. There we go. No one can see, can they? You can't tell. Now, I'm sure I had a third leaf. There it is. Let's be careful, Corrine. You don't want to break this one as well. And I'm going to do that coming out of here. So I don't need the bow that I was thinking of doing. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? This is, wow. So pleased with this. We need a gem like this. So just cream ones. I'm not going to colour them or do anything. I'm just going to put one inside there. One inside there. Oops. There we go. This one's raising off. There we go. And then a couple, oops, oh, came back. A couple of gems just on the card, I think. Some days gems don't want to play ball, do they? Not at all. There we go. You go in there. Right. That's where it decided it wanted to go. We'll have that. We'll take that. 1s, 3s, 5s. So we've got the flowers. Make sure that's pressed down. Give that a little bit of a lift. Push that one under. There we go. And that is today's card. Isn't that pretty? I really, really like that. So simple. A little bit of reverse colouring on my vellum, a little bit of ripped mulberry paper, some off-white cardstock, using a piece to make the card look like it's been made out of it. And that is all I'm going to do. Really, really pretty. I hope you like it, because I really do. I'm really chuffed. I always say this, but I'm never totally sure how my cards are going to come out until we've finished them. And this one really makes me happy. So I hope you like it too. And I'll leave it there. And yeah, if you make something like this, and please do share it with me, because I would love to see. As always, I'll sign off, and thank you so much for all of your support, all of your likes, all of your comments, any links that you can click on in the description really help, because it helps me if you click on my Amazon links or my Buy Me a Coffee page. And as always, I will put a link to another video and a link to my subscribe. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. So until next time, my crafty friends, you take care. I hope you enjoyed this. That was pretty. I hope you always hear the surprise in my voice when they work out, because it always does surprise me. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will leave you there until next time. So take care, my crafty friends. Don't forget to share your makes with me, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.